We good today? Happy Friday. Everybody have a good 4th?
Outstanding.
Okay, great. I'm glad we're all here. Let's start things off in the association. This offseason, the Lakers were expected to make some moves that would help them contend for another championship. However, with the draft and free agency, there are still questions surrounding whether or not the Lakers have done enough to actually contend. Despite courting reportedly free agents Klay Thompson, Paul George, and James Harden this summer, the Lakers have been unable to attract any big names to join LeBron James and Anthony Davis in LA. Thus far, the only notable additions to last year's roster are rookies Dalton Knecht and Bronny James, as well as first-time head coach and JJ Redick. Monica, I'm going to start with you. Do we think that we're overblowing how bad the Lakers are?
100%. I know you like to sing, friend. I was about to just make up a song about 100%. Yeah, look, I think to have this conversation in isolation that the Lakers are supposed to win a championship is a little bit ridiculous, right? They're just not going to win a championship. And I think when you look at the Western Conference, there are young teams that are getting better. We talked about how tough the Western Conference was all season long. I'm not saying that people are not disappointed that the Lakers might not be contending. I get all of that. But I just think they're going to be competitive. Any team with LeBron James has a shot. Anthony Davis is still terrific when he's on. They're going to be competitive. They probably just won't win a championship. And so I think if you are realistic about the state of the NBA and the actual witnessing or experience that we are witnessing in terms of the guard beginning to change, to focus on the Lakers' inability to win a championship this year, assuming that they won't, is to miss what's happening. There's so many other great teams around them, right? Like in the Western Conference, and even if you go to the Eastern Conference. So yeah, the Lakers might not be putting up the next banner. Now the Celtics have the record, but I do think they're going to be competitive, and you're not just going to be able to roll over them. It's not like they're going to finish in the bottom of the Western Conference.
Realistic is a great word.
We don't do that.
Is a great word. Well, because I think we're not overblowing it, because I think the Lakers at this point are a whole lot more likely to miss the play-in than they are to make the playoffs. And here's why.
Okay.
When I look at this group, I'm looking at a team that did not get any better than it was already this past year. I mean, Knecht might be a nice player. That's great. We have a rookie head coach who everybody believes is in LeBron's pocket as it is. I think that's a little bit problematic. And then, am I really expecting LeBron and Anthony Davis to play as many games as they did this past year? I mean, think about that. LeBron played 71. Last 5 years on average before that, 55. And I know a couple of those years were shorter. AD, 76 games this year. Is that happening again? Last 5 years before that, average of 50. Let me ask one other question. Has LeBron actually proven to be a great GM in his career? I don't really think so. And he is the GM of the team, or at least he pushes to be the GM of the team. So they may have a couple of draft picks to trade. And you know, those big eyes emoji is coming right around trade deadline about what are we doing. I don't think the Lakers may miss the play-in this year.
Well, what are we doing all this for? I mean, you mentioned these numbers, 71 games for LeBron James last year. Most he's played as a Laker, most he's played since he was with Cleveland. And on top of that, what you get from Anthony Davis, now you're saying, is that going to happen again? So why are we doing all of this? Why are we talking about continuity every offseason and trying to get this roster better if a championship is not the goal? Are we just happy to be here? Are we just happy to be in the conversation? Being in the conversation as a play-in team is purgatory. No one wants to be in that part of the Western Conference standings. And as you see teams like Oklahoma City get better and better, I mean, they won the offseason by every stretch, and then Minnesota, Denver, despite not doing much, still very much up there in the upper echelon. The Lakers keep getting pushed back further and further, and that's the reason. Not LeBron James. Nobody wanted to play with LeBron James or any sort of narrative out there about that. The reason nobody wants to go to the Lakers right now is because they are stuck in this place that is going to be next to impossible to get out of, as this team is already approaching second apron territory, which is going to make the constraints on this roster and adding to it even more difficult. Like you said something that I really agree with. Like, this roster is the exact same roster outside of a great wing scorer in Dalton Knecht that it was when they lost in 5 games to the Denver Nuggets in April. They have not gotten better.
So here's my one thing, though, that I will add to this conversation. We are looking at, let's look at the West, right? The Clippers did not get better. The Clippers got worse, right? The Sun, for all things considered, they stay as they are. They didn't improve. You got the Kings. Like, when I look at them, I can see the Lakers at least in the play-in. I just think they're going to be competitive because even last year's team, there were stretches, you guys, that if we really looked at it, we wondered if they had drawn differently in the postseason, could an experienced team beat one of those younger teams? Now, I don't necessarily know that I buy that, but they ran into the Nuggets. So to me, the Lakers did not necessarily get better, but there were enough teams on the Western Conference side, some of the older teams, that didn't get better either. So they're still probably going to be a playoff chasing team.
But that's the thing. It's all bunched in, and I feel like any of those teams, you look at the 6th spot through the 10th spot, what was it separated by? 3 or 4 games max? I look at some of those teams, and then I look at these guys here, and how quickly, to Courtney's point, some of these free agents said no to LeBron. I mean, Klay Thompson was like, thanks, but no thanks. I mean, he couldn't get Jonas Valanciunas to go there. He wanted Valanciunas, and he couldn't get him to go there. He went to Washington. Washington, for Pete's sake. So
Nation's capital. We love it.
Nothing against Washington. It's really more about the Wizards. But I think
I get that.
Yes. My point simply is this. Why is it that that group may be jumbled, but I don't see the Lakers making the 6th spot more likely than making the 11th spot, because I can't count on all that. And the other thing is, we always find ourselves talking about, how far they can go and they can make a run on all this because of LeBron.
Doesn't it feel manufactured,
but that's
though?
legit.
Like, it feels manufactured. We've done this the last couple of years. Every offseason, we talk about LeBron and championships, and is this roster going to be good enough to take advantage of him in whatever season it is, 2021 and now 2020, and now his 22nd season. Yet, the answer that we have today is the same answer we had after they made all of those moves at the trade deadline, in the last season when they end up going to the Western Conference Finals and getting swept by the Denver Nuggets. The same questions that we had then are the ones that we have today, which is why I don't think it's an overreaction if you're taking a look at the state of the Los Angeles Lakers right now to think that we're overblowing this. Like, what's the point of all of this if you're not actually making the moves? If you have put yourself in a situation where they have no one to blame for themselves for the reason that the roster is in this state. It has nothing to do with LeBron James taking the 2-year max contract. It's nothing to do with Bronny James. Everything has led them to this point. And they can't undo it because everybody else in the West is getting younger and getting better, especially those top 4 or 5 teams. And where they're stuck right now is a real difficult place to get out of. And the Golden State Warriors are in similar territory too, an aging team with aging superstars trying to take advantage of the window that they're still in. Yet, how do you get out of that when the roster construction doesn't bode well for a championship run?
It feels like the NBA cycle, though. So I totally see where you're coming at it from, Courtney, but I guess I look at it the opposite way. Like, even though that this team has not jumped up and won a title, the past 3 seasons, they've been good enough to have us talking beyond just the fact that they are the Los Angeles Lakers in names, right? They got to, they were in the play-in both times around, but they practically won the Western Conference Finals a season ago, right? And so I just think that, like, they are still a competitive unit, and I get it. It's championship or bust, but you have to acknowledge the NBA life cycle. You up, your guys get old, and if you're not moving quickly ahead of the curve, this is what happens. And so LeBron just signed this new 2-year deal. You got at least 2 years before you can hit reset.
Can JJ Redick win here? And I don't mean win, I mean metaphorically win. It feels like a no-win situation for him because everybody thinks you're LeBron's guy, and I wondered like how messages are going to be taken in the locker room from the coach on that front. And then we all know that when things don't go right, who's going to get blamed in this? I mean, it happened to Darvin Ham this year, and I understand that coaches can lose a locker room. I get that completely. But this is somebody who has not done it before. It was a smart move to bring in McMillan. It was a smart move to bring in Scott Brooks. I don't know that he can win here. Like, God forbid, Bronny in the next year or two doesn't develop. Who's getting blamed for that? You think Bronny's getting blamed for that? I don't think so.
We go back to the word you started the conversation with then, Carlin, and it becomes realistic.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what are the measurables?
Cody Jenkins, my pistol's out now. Make sure y'all go run that up. You heard it live from your boy Bobby Shmurda. Get out.
Chase.
You live by it, you die by it, that shit true. Lost a couple homies, some real shit I got hit too. Gotta watch your back, you get killed, niggas are spin through. Where would I be without my pistol? You live by it, you die by it, that shit true. Lost a couple homies, some real shit I got hit too. Gotta watch your back, you get killed, niggas are spin through. Where would I be without my pistol? Where would I be without my pistol? My pistol. Where would I be without my? Them niggas caught me lacking, had that thing right by my side. Already one in the head, nigga, this shit do or die. You fuck around and lose your life, you come and playing with mine. I told them boys this shit get hot when you playing with fire. Boy better not jump up on that block if he ain't ready to ride. Goofy musta thought it was cool, we just trying to survive. That musta went over his head, same way bullets gon' fly. You know that shit ain't got no name once they open they glide. Need to stop shooting from that corner, nigga, run down my side. Niggas saying they doing drills, taking innocent lives. Niggas shooting for clout, they never really hitting them guys. I keep it on me all the time, but would I be without my? You live by it, you die by it, that shit true. Lost a couple homies, some real shit I got hit too. Gotta watch your back, you get killed, niggas that spin through. Where would I be without my pistol? You live by it, you die by it, that shit true. Lost a couple homies, some real shit I got hit too. Gotta watch your back, you get killed, niggas that spin through. Where would I be without my? Where would I be without my pistol? Where would I be without my? Where would I be without my?
Where would I be without my Glock? Yeah. She a thotty, she be all over my body.
leave, she coming right beside me. Like, was only one by my side. Not gon' play, nigga, you gon' die. The eyes broken, them niggas, they been fried. Like, free skim, he got locked for homicide. Like, so I'm trapping on my lonely, and I'm swerving in the foreign by my dolly. And these niggas outside not really my homies. Free gang, free broke, free the homies. Like, why they talking like they on that, but these niggas they on shit. All my niggas sliding and my niggas talking blicks. Betty on my side and she really with the shit. Talking real crazy, she gon' push a nigga away. So I'm trapping on my lonely.